Thursday to all of my coffee beans. We've been covering the case of Miss Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old grandmother, ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gun-carrying intruder. And since this case, we learned about this case, one other aspect we've learned about, and that is the failures of law enforcement in such a massive way when it came to the investigation aspect of Miss Nancy Guthrie. So that's going to be the talking point this morning. Good morning, everyone. As you guys know, today is our luncheon day, so I am ready to rock and roll. Good morning. Let's get into it.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
So come on in, grab your cup of coffee, grab yourself a little snack, and get cozy while we start talking about this aspect of the Nancy Guthrie
Coffee
case.
steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turmo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get red
And then it's light. and then we begin. I love that intro. I'm always bebopping behind you. We have another intro, if you guys don't know about it. It's a good day. We got coffee cups that have the good day on it. We've been playing the good day for 5 years, and then we got some jam, some Bullhorn Betty jam. You know, I keep wondering, should we do a contest, of people doing, I don't know, maybe we need to make up a dance for the song. Right? Have somebody choreograph. Maybe we should do like a raffle or a drawing or a reward for somebody that comes up with the coolest dance to our Bullhorn Betty jam first thing in the morning. That'd be kind of cool. Something a little different. Every now and again we go a little different. So anyways, guys, we've been kind of covering the case of Miss Nancy Guthrie. We've gone over her timeline 1,000 times, but just in case, you never know. We bring new people in to get different cases at different junctures all the time. So I try to give like a Reader's Digest version of the intro in case you missed it at the very beginning of the show and you came in a little late. So this is Miss Nancy Guthrie. She's an 84-year-old grandmother, actually well-known mom to a Emmy-nominated or Emmy Award-winning journalist on the Today Show known as Savannah Guthrie. Many people know her. She's been on that channel since 2012. She was picked from KVOA. We recognize that name, the local news station out there in Tucson. And, of course, Miss Guthrie went to dinner with her oldest daughter, Annie, and her family. They dropped her off at home. She went to bed, allegedly. We don't know what happened after they dropped her off, let's be honest. None of us know what happened. We can speculate that somebody was there waiting for her. We can speculate that Tommaso did it. We can speculate this. But none of us really know what happened. So that's why we lean on law enforcement, because they're the ones that have the credentials to find out that information, to find out the when, where, what, who, why factor, right? And they keep a lot of evidence from us. While they do try to keep us up to date because we're pesky little suckers, they still keep a lot away from us because it goes to the integrity of the investigation. And that integrity of the investigation, because we don't know who this is, they can't give out all the details, like what did you do here? What did you do here? What did they do here? Why was this done here? Maybe they know these things, but they never told us. A lot of this stuff was secretive. A lot of the stuff we found out through other means, other sources, other avenues, right? For example, what was in those ransom notes? We've got some information in the ransom notes, and I can tell you the first ransom note and the second ransom note, I don't give a rat's patootie if they had the same Bitcoin addressed to it or not. I don't care. The aggression and anger and attitude that was so forceful in the first ransom note that was received by the journalist out there, and this, meager, oh my God, she's dead. I can't believe we did this to her. We're so sorry. We'll give you her, right? In the second letter, they don't bode together, because the first ransom note was so aggressive. We're not going to reach out to you anymore. These are our demands. If we don't get them, your mom's dead. Okay? Just as point blank as that. You're not going to get somebody that's telling you we're going to eat your mommy if you don't give us money, to, oh my gosh, she died shortly after we took her. And start, feeling bad or trying to act empathetic. They don't bode together. Okay? I'm sorry. I listened to the exact wording, the exact terminology that was used in the first verbatim, because Brianna saw them, and because she's on Crime Junkies, well, she doesn't have she's not constrained by mainstream media anymore. And so now she understands what true freedom of the press is, and she doesn't really hold any of that stuff back. So she let us know what she saw in those letters. And those letters were pretty significant. I'm not going to go over it this morning. Our talking point is a much different talking point, but it is a revelation that we are going to probably go over this afternoon with relation to it. Now, I understand there are people already talking about it and going over it. I look at things a little different than some other people do here. I have a legal background. I have investigative background. I've got a lot of different things that put me apart from other armchair, so to speak, armchair detectives, right? I'm an independent journalist, and I am a political activist. Those are really the hats that I wear in my everyday life, right? So I have a political, like even today, my luncheon is 100% a political luncheon, and yet we're here talking about true crime. I do bring some politics in it, but the politics that I try to bring in are more uniting politics than dividing politics, because I think, like many of the other people in this country, I think we're just kind of sick and tired of the fighting and nothing ever getting done. I think we're all just kind of, I mean, we've got fatigue over the Nancy Guthrie case. I can't even imagine what we've got when it comes to our running of our country, right? We've got major fatigue over that. We're done. Stick a fork in it. We're done. Okay. I don't think anybody at this point really gives a crap how we get back on track. Just get back on track. Okay. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm all saying I want to just get back on track. I hope this doesn't screw anything up. I forgot to turn my buttons on. I can't live without my buttons in the morning. I love my buttons. I'm sorry, guys. I push buttons for a living. It's the one job that I do well. It's the one job I do well. I know how to push buttons. I'm sure many of you guys do too. Many of you guys do too. Don't lie. Don't lie. There we go. We got our buttons back. We got our buttons back. Look at that. Look at that. So getting back to Miss Nancy Guthrie, you know, this is a family that's well known. This is a family that has resources that I guarantee almost 99.9% of my audience wishes that they had one little sliver of, right? We wish we had one little sliver of that lifestyle, you know, that elite lifestyle, that we don't have to worry about the cost of groceries. We don't have to worry about our electric, right? Many of us don't know what that's like. I mean, even us that are comfortable, we still, you know, are concerned about the cost of milk, the cost of groceries, you know, I about fell over when I got my electric payment last month, right? So, I mean, we all are not Savannah Guthrie or the Guthrie family, okay? This lady lived in $1 million home. She lost her husband when the kids were young, and she still managed to keep everything afloat. I mean, for, you know, everything, they don't live like the rest of us. I will tell you that, okay? So we're dealing with this family that has things that many of us only dream of. And still, when it comes to who's running the investigation, no matter how much money, how much will, how much want, it doesn't make the case move. So that, what I'm trying to say is the failures that happened in this case at the beginning, they're never going to be fixed. And every time I start reading these articles, I think we're all missing the big picture here. I think the FBI is leaking this information to let us know how much dire straits this case truly is in. I don't know why, but, you know, we've been reading about this, and I just kept thinking, you know, maybe it's just this, them just constantly just, you know, because they don't like each other. Right? The FBI can't stand Chris Nanos. Why? Because he's a bad cop. He's a criminal. I'm sorry. You cannot convince me that there is one person in this nation that wears a freaking badge that wants to work under a freaking criminal. Never, not once. And so, you know, you when you know you have a sleazy, slimy, bad cop, a creature, and you're the freaking FBI and you can't do shit about it? Oh yeah, you bet yourself you're going to have attitude, because that's all you got. And so they're forcing everybody to work under this criminal sheriff, and everybody is just like, it's a day late and a dollar short at this point, the way I'm looking at it. Like, we keep going back, and it's like, we lost this because of the delays. We lost this because of the delays. We lost this because of the delays. So I really truly think that there was some major evidence that they now know was lost as a direct result of Chris Nanos' leadership. Now, again, this is, oh, thank you, Jewel, for the floating heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Now, I'm trying to go through here because I keep seeing these articles and they keep rearing their ugly head. And it's like, you know, we think that we get to a point where, you know, maybe this case is taking a turn for the better, right? I mean, how many turns for the worse can it take? I mean, at this point, is this case on life support, you know? And maybe some of us believe that it just might be on life support. But at the end of the day, we're sitting here wondering what in the world is going on in this case, and everybody seems to be blowing hot air up our skirt. And it's getting to the point where we don't know whether to believe Chris Nanos, we don't know whether to believe the FBI, we don't even know whether we should believe any of them. And it's getting to the point where I think that people are questioning this case. Will this case ever be solved? And whose fault is it if it doesn't get solved, right? There are cases that are just unsolvable cases. And, you know, in my experience, those unsolvable cases are because the the victim and the suspect didn't know each other. And that's what makes it so concerning, is because they didn't know each other. Now, in a case like this, I think that the consensus, at minimum, is she knew or have came in contact with the person that did this to her. I think that's the consensus from the experts across the field. Now, whether they believe in the ransom notes or not, I don't think that changes the fact that they believe that there's a possibility of Miss Guthrie knowing her assailant. In many of these type of cases, the suspect knew the assailant. So if the victim knows the assailant, and the most common homicide cases or other cases that never get solved is because the people truly did not know each other and have never come in contact. Well, if the consensus is she knew him, then this should be a solvable case. Follow the leads, find the subject. I think this complicates things because we've got a famous daughter. The famous daughter has her own, closet of crazy, right? She's well known, so she gets the, most likely the stalker, the disgruntled letters. Probably she interviewed the president. I'm sure she got some hate mail from that. There's just a whole wealth of another underbelly of society, twisted, wackadoos, so to speak, that are just comes with the territory of being a famous journalist like Savannah Guthrie. So I think a lot of time has been focused on that aspect because it had to be about her, right? It had to be. She's the famous daughter. She was about to go to the Olympics. Somebody didn't want her to go to the Olympics, right? It has to be about Savannah Guthrie. It has to be. I think that is the crazy part about this whole entire story. Folks, I don't believe this is because of Savannah. I don't. I never did. I think Savannah was the most noticeable. And I think everything just immediately started leaning that way because of the ransom notes. The ransom notes really did derail this investigation. I truly believe it derailed the investigation for the FBI. I really, really, really do. And I think it still is holding some issues, with the ransoms. I think the ransoms, in all fairness, screwed up this case from out the gate. So if you guys ask, can other people really cause issues and derail cases? Yes, we watched it happen in real time in this Nancy Guthrie case. I don't see how we could talk about it in any other way, right? So we're learning about the sheriff. The sheriff came under heavy scrutiny because as soon as this huge force of media and social media arrived in Tucson, in Pima County, I think all the people that had disgruntledness and they were seeing all of this, because by the time everybody showed up, right, by the third, we're all seeing the crappy forensic investigation they did. We see the mat on the ground, we see the foliage right there, and we don't know why that's there. We hadn't seen the masked gunman yet because that hasn't been released. That doesn't get released for another 6 to 7 days, right? They opened the crime scene up on the 2nd, so they had it closed down all of the 2nd. We had Alex in here from Criminal Network last night. And he said I was inaccurate about that 30 hours because I've been going off what's been going around the news. 30 hours is how long they had that crime scene, locked down for. And Alex came in here last night and told us, no, that's inaccurate. It was only 20 hours. And I'm thinking, who the hell can process a 3,000 square foot home and a guest house in 20 hours thoroughly? Who can do that? So that was our, that even made the whole thing even sound worse. Excuse me, guys. I have allergies and I forgot to take my allergy medicine this morning. So you're going to probably deal with me Dealing with my nose, and I apologize. I've been sneezing a lot on the camera. It's nothing I can do. It's allergy season here. And I don't know how they do it I know how they do it in news, because most of the news is not really, live news. It's all pre-recorded and ran, so they can cut all the stuff out. We're truly live. You can't, if we sneeze, right? If we try to drink coffee, we don't get to cut it out. It's literally right here. So anyways, guys, it is so nice to see all of you here. We got a lot of people in chat right now. I'm just going to take a few moments just to say hi to the people. I know there's already been people in here saying hi from earlier this morning. Thank you, guys. Melanie, I appreciate you. As always, we appreciate all of our family. Our family, you guys are all part of this family, but the people that sponsor us are in the green. Those are, that is the coffee club. They are here for a purpose. The people in white, that's just the rest of you guys. It's the rest of our coffee club. And the people in the blue, all the blue, that's your moderators and things like that. So if you don't know how to read the chat, don't know who's who, that's what it is. So we have our members and our mods, and then of course everybody else. So with all of you guys coming here and supporting, all of you guys in white, the best thing you can do for me is hit those thumbs up buttons, right? So take a moment, hit that thumb up button for this live. We greatly appreciate it. If you find something interesting in this live that you like, that you learn something from, clip it and share it to others, because if it's something that resonates with you, it's probably going to be something that resonates with your friends that are covering the same case or watching or monitoring this case. So clip those things and pass those things around. If you guys are in all of these chats and you find something that's bombshell information, like we had a lot of stuff to break out last night, and it was a really good live. If things are interesting to you, cut that, clip that, and pass that on around. We really do appreciate all the help that you guys can do in bringing attention to this channel. We work around the clock to try to bring you the most accurate information. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we do. We're no different than mainstream media. We make mistakes just like they make mistakes, and everybody else. We're human beings. We're not robots, okay? So please, if you are a human being, I don't expect you to be perfect, and I don't expect you to think I am perfect, okay? But with all that, we do try our absolute best to advocate for these cases and for these victims, and we try to give you guys the most information so you can theorize and speculate what you think is going on with the case based on real facts, not speculation. So it's nice to see you, Melanie V. Miss, Mr. Dunham. It's nice to see you. YouTuber is here. Michelle, good morning. Lazy Days, the real me too. Sonia, our beautiful Sonia, up in the chat. Jewel, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Melody, well, good morning there, love. Been a little minute. Rose, it's nice to see you. Da Boss, hello, my love. J.E. Girl, ta-dow, baby, ta-dow. We got it. We got it like that today. We're up and ready to rock and roll. It's nice to see you. Lake Life, good morning. Just want to slap the... I think we got it. Let's do that. That felt too good. Let's do that again. Sheriff Nairness, this is from the Bullhorn Betty channel, right to your smacker. I knew I had a smack. Oh, we're in trouble. We're going down. we going down. Where are you going? We going down. We're sinking like the Titanic today. Leanne, it's nice to see you. Crystal Pistol, Rose, good morning. Tracy, I wonder if CG Link soldier that maybe he oversaw and had to discipline and hates him, or the soldier that didn't get the new rank. Oh, you're talking about Cameron. It's kind of funny you bring up Cameron, because Cameron is kind of the one that's gone kind of unscathed in all of this, hasn't he? Like, Savannah's came under major heavy scrutiny. Her sister, her brother-in-law, they've all come under heavy scrutiny. And then we have Cameron, which is the one that actually brought the attention to the ransom and all of that stuff. And he's pretty much gone unscathed. And so Tracy is saying, I'm still wondering if Cameron Link, the soldier that maybe oversaw and had discipline and hates him, or a soldier that didn't get new rank because Cameron got it. So maybe like a jealousy or anger type of thing. I only wonder because military base in Tucson. Ooh, there's a military base in Tucson. Could that have an angle? Could they be pissed off at Cameron? Maybe we're looking at the wrong Guthrie. And I've even brought that up, even if it is an angry type of issue, is it, is it Annie? Like, because Annie lives in Tucson, I thought, maybe somebody in her poetry class or somebody that maybe her or Tommaso was teaching that they kicked out of class because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Maybe there's some, animosity that way, and I was looking at something like that because, how poetic some of the language in the ransom notes appeared to be. Downey, it's nice to see you. The Ruby Pearl Glamper, good morning. Why the big hurry to release this? That, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, we still don't understand that. It seems like he was just trying to show the family, look how quickly we can get this all done and back to you, Like, and then it's like, what the hell? And then we started seeing problem after problem. I mean, literally, they squandered the first 48. They didn't know what the hell they were doing out there. And every time I read an article, I keep dismissing it, but I'm starting to pay attention to it because, I feel like they're warning us, like they're wanting us to keep. I think the FBI keeps trying to tell us that this case is screwed, and it's a direct result because they lost all of this time, 4 freaking days, because of Nanos, the criminal sheriff of Pima County, that everybody's just fine allowing to stay employed. A freaking criminal, running the frick. It's like the patients running the insane asylum. You got the criminals running the sheriff's department. Like, what the? Just saying. Oakley, Yvonne, it's nice to see you. Yo-yo mama. Yo-yo mama, yo. It's nice to see you. It's cute. Jewel. Crystal Pistol. Aw, thank you guys. I appreciate you. The boss, it's nice to see you. Laylee, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Very opinionated granny. It's nice to see you, love. Pam, thank you. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. And it's because I'm a love machine. Ow! And it's not because I sting either. Tracy, Unicorn, it's nice to see you, true crime junkie. Maybe I'm just trying to say convince myself. I don't know. Very blessed. Oh, 2012, White Tiger. Senator Mark Kelly is Nanos' political boss. He's also Savannah called that Sunday. Nanos has done nor is doing any of this on his own. Everything Nanos does, Mark Kelly approved. Well, I know that there's a reason why this piece of garbage, this criminal sheriff, is still employed and why everybody put their tail between their legs and ran when it was time to vote to move him on and to start taking legal action from the county. And I knew that they had gotten a call. And that makes sense. They probably got the call from Mark Kelly, threatening them, their political, like, I'm sorry. I don't care about my political position in this country. At the end of the day, one thing I am not going to do is allow a freaking criminal to run the sheriff's department. Okay? I'm sorry. If this was going on in Manatee County right now, I would literally be taking to the streets and protesting. I would be screaming in a bullhorn. I wouldn't even give a shit if we had a noise ordinance. Take my ass to jail. We'll fight it out in court. But I'm going to be out there. As soon as I get out there again, I'm going to be right out there with the freaking bullhorn again. Take my ass to jail. We can keep doing this all day long. So you guys are going to put me under the jail, or are you going to release me and allow me to exercise my rights as an American citizen, by God? There's no way in hell I would allow, knowing, maybe if I didn't know he was hired, I might have voted for him. Okay, if I made a mistake. Everybody's entitled to make mistakes. Okay, I made a mistake. All right, I voted for a criminal sheriff. Well, now I know he's a criminal sheriff. I can't have a criminal sheriff running the frickin' police or sheriff's department. You got to get them moved on. And so we had partners in the county supervisors. They were going to do it, but right there at the date of vote, they all did a 180, except one. Like there was one lady. Everybody was on board with this, except one lady that was a Democrat on that board. One lady. It was bipartisan because even the only Republican on that board was in agreement to move Chris Nanos on. And they go to the vote, and they sandbag the Republican. And that was the first time I saw them care about their own political neck than the people that they serve. Those are pieces of shit. And if they will turn their back on their citizens for their political purposes, for them to survive politically, they are not worth their weight in salt. They all have to be fired. They told you guys to go F off. You guys came to them with a problem. They told you to get bent. And you're the boss of them. Vote them out of office. Vote them out of office. So one of the things that we have, and more problems that we saw in this up front, we learned that they didn't turn the lights on when they were investigating because of the wildlife, because of their agreement with the University of Arizona. I cannot believe that. I think that's bullshit. Then we found out about the plane being grounded because he had a squabble with the pilot. And so he doesn't even take a plane. He doesn't even put their most sophisticated plane up in the air for this lady that's missing because of inter-office squabbles. So I'm just building the case here about how horrible this man has treated Miss Guthrie and her family and this case over a pissing contest with people he doesn't like in his own department and the FBI. And again, the supervisors are just fine with it because they had an opportunity to act and they chose not to. They chose their political careers over the people they serve. Somebody called them and somebody told them, if you vote this way, you are done. And they said, oop, I better fall in line. Call me a liar. Come on, Board of Supervisors. I'm a political activist. I've been doing this for a very long time, probably longer than any of you guys have been employed as politicians. Call me a liar. I double dog dare you. Who called you? Who called you? Every one of you guys got a call and you changed your vote because of it. Who called you? Was it Mark? Was it Chris Nanos? Did he threaten you? I'd like to know. Because then we find out that he kept the FBI at bay for 4 days. And he keeps coming to the public and lying to us and saying, no, he did not do that. Well, I can tell you just by proof, just by action, he's a liar. Because if the FBI was on grounds from day one, explain to me why he would ever release a crime scene within 20 hours before the FBI got to go inside. He had to go back and shut the crime scene down a second time to allow the FBI in there because he sidelined them for 4 days. And you know he did. They got so frustrated that they were ordered to go out and just start working the case because Chris was not filling them in or working with them. And then you guys remember hearing about how the FBI was in somebody's home and the Pima County Sheriff's like, no, they should not be in your home. The FBI is not going around to anybody's home. We need to send our detective there and do some forensics to find out who was in your home, but it wasn't the FBI. And finally it was the FBI. And it's like, what are you guys doing here? And now all these months later, where we realize what all happened, it was Chris Nanos keeping them benching the FBI and the FBI saying, we're going to go work. And that's where all that confusion came in. And then it's like, oh, well, now the FBI's here. They're knocking on doors. I better bring him into the fold. I better bring them into the fold. And now we're finding out that all of this detrimental stuff Chris Nanos has been doing with this pissing contest, this arrogance, this pompousness, and he has driven this case slap into the ground where I don't even know if it will ever be solved. I'm getting this inclination. This case may never be solved, folks. Everybody keeps saying, oh, we're getting close, we're getting close. Guys, I don't think we're getting close because we're recirculating the same complaints from the FBI over and over again. And now they're coming in saying, wait a minute, we lost a shit ton of evidence because of this pissing contest Chris wanted to have with the FBI. And so that brings us to the first part of our story. But before we get into that, we reported yesterday, is it possible this guy has struck again? And the answer is, it's possible. We just had an incident that happened at 2:40 between July 20th into the 21st. It happened at 2:40 on the 21st, just 2 days ago, where a woman, her home was invaded because of through an unlocked door, an opened door. He went in there, he sexually assaulted her, he physically assaulted her, and before he fled, he robbed her. So we heard Chris Nanos say in the past that this guy could strike again. This guy that went into this person's house was 5'10". We hear the assailant for Miss Nancy Guthrie was 5'9", 5'10". We believe the person for Nancy Guthrie is Hispanic to white. We believe the person in this case here is Hispanic to white. The only differences in the general description of this guy versus the guy for Nancy Guthrie is the lady said that this guy was thin build, and Nancy Guthrie was average built. The difference. The guy that was thin built had a baggy shirt on, or an oversized shirt. I always believe when people wear clothes that are too big for them, it makes them look smaller. I don't know why, but it looks like they lost weight because their clothes are hanging off of them. Something like that, right? So would you be able to hide an average build person under clothes that are oversized? Or could it have been the assailant that just lost freaking a bunch of weight because of the anxiety of murdering his last victim and his clothes no longer fit him, i.e. being oversized? This happened 30 miles away, so it's within our area. Remember, I told you our radius is going to be statistically 20 to 50 miles. But I believe that she's going to be within 5 to 10 miles of her home. That's just my personal belief. But I don't know. It's just a belief. It's just an assessment that I've made, and I can't even give you receipts on why I came to that conclusion. I can't answer that. I just feel that that's where it's at, right? Don't know where it's coming from. It's just a feeling. So Chris Nanos has finally responded to this new home invasion. People are concerned, like I was yesterday when we ran the story, that it's possible this could be connected. And of course, Chris Nanos says there's nothing that connects this case, but he also said that she didn't have a subscription on her phone, and while we saw something move in front of the camera, we can't dismiss that it could have been an animal, right? So he's been wrong many times in this case. Just to let you know, just to remind you. So does this guy have anything to do with Miss Nancy Guthrie's case? I don't know. In all honesty, in my gut, I don't think he does have anything to do with Nancy Guthrie's case. But it gives us an avenue to look down, a very ugly avenue to look down nonetheless, right? So Chris basically says, I'm not going to read this article. I don't see any point that we need to read. Well, what the hell? I might as well read it. This is the first time you guys get to see the receipts, in the morning to talk about them. So more than 5 months after Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her Tucson, Arizona home in the middle of the night, a woman has been attacked following a home invasion in the wake of the violent incident that took place minutes from Nancy Guthrie's home. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos made an important statement to the media. KVOA Channel 4 Tucson has reported on a disturbing attack and home invasion that happened in Tucson, Arizona. The outlet revealed that according to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, deputies responded to a home after 2:40 a.m. on July 21st, 2026, following a reported assault. After an intruder reportedly invaded the home through an unlocked door, they physically and sexually assaulted the victim. Then they attempted to burglarize the home before leaving alone. According to the outlet, the house where the attack happened was located at the 12,000 block of West Vegas Drive near Taylor Lane in Ahoway, I think is the way, I don't know, Ahoway. An ex-post from Fox Digital true crime reporter Mike Ruiz noted how close the house where the attack took place to Nancy. The reporter said about 30 miles from Nancy's home on the other side of Tucson. Tucson reported a report noted that the suspect on the July 21st attack had not been caught, and there's no indication that has changed. The outlet noted the suspect was described as a white or Hispanic male, thin build, around 5'10" tall. The suspect was also described as having gray in their beard and wearing an oversized green shirt. The authorities were asking residents to review any home or neighborhood surveillance footage that they may have from the night of the attack. They noted that the footage of the suspect exists. It could be crucial to the case. Anyone with information, don't you think your law enforcement should have some type of proactive sources to deter crime in the community? I think that is their responsibility, is to try or attempt to deter crime in the community. And they keep coming here and asking people for cameras. We ask people for cameras in this county, but you know what? If people can't come forward with cameras, we got our own. And you know why? Because we want to keep our community safe. You are not owed a duty of privacy in public areas. Let me repeat that again. You are owed no duty of privacy in public areas. You know how I know? Because the Supreme Court told us. The Supreme Court told us. And why we don't like Big Brother? Safety trumps a lot of our concerns here. And I'm sorry, we're about to get into how often this is happening in Tucson. Turn on the blessed cameras. Turn on the cameras. That's going to be our drumbeat from this point forward. Turn on the cameras in the community. Turn on the cameras. So KVOA News 4 Tucson report notes that the suspect in the July 21st attack had not been caught, and there is no indication that has changed. The outlet noted, we already read that he's 5'10" and has gray in his beard and wearing an oversized green shirt. The authorities are asking residents in the area to look at their surveillance footage and send that in, because if it's lost, as like we learned in Nancy Guthrie case, it's lost forever. They note that the footage of the suspect exists. It could be crucial. They note if footage of the suspect exists. Well, if they had their cameras on their traffic lights, they should be able to see the car that they're moving around in, right? At minimum, right? But again, that's with a community that gives a shit about their residents and not the criminals, right? I would like a community to protect the law-abiding citizens, not the drug addicts and homeless population in that community. I don't know about you, but that's just me personally. Maybe I'm just a racist against homeless people. Who knows? I don't know. I think I'm just a pro-safety type of gal, not really anti-anything, just pro-safety, right? I just want all of the good-hearted people out there to be safe and to live life and enjoy their life that they're allowed to live, right? But all these decisions really hamper, right? When you can't even go out to dinner because you're scared you're going to be stabbed or robbed, well, that's a little bit of a hindrance, don't you think? In the ex-post, which he detailed, has how close the attack took place to Nancy Guthrie's attack Nancy Guthrie's home, Fox Digital true crime reporter Mike Ruiz gave an update on the case. He noted that Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos made a brief statement to him to clarify that he sees no reason to link the investigations into the new attack to Nancy Guthrie. Sheriff told Ruiz that there is nothing to indicate the cases are related. So I thought that was interesting, that you guys might want to see that. And of course, there is a manhunt underway for that individual, right? Somebody attacked a woman in the middle of the night inside her home, and then tried to rob her thereafter. So it's 100 miles. Well, they said 30. I don't know is Tucson 100 miles wide? Is Pima County 100 miles wide? Between the foothills of Ajo. I don't know how to pronounce that. I feel like it's Ajo, and I have a problem in calling you a hoe. I'm just saying. Okay. Arizona Raven, a hoe. I'm so sorry. That made me laugh. Aho. Okay, aho. Lazy Day says Pima County's 9,000 square miles. Wow. Okay, let's get back. Our brains are a little soggy this morning. It's 100 miles from Foothill. To Aho. Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I don't know. You know me, I don't know this place. I was in Arizona one time, and that was for Charlie Kirk's celebration of life. And that was just insanity. But when I was in Arizona, one thing I can tell you I hated more than anything in the world is your roads. I don't know who did the planning there, but they are so dangerous, especially when you guys have rain, that I'm surprised they're able to do that. I'm surprised they are not forced to rethink the road structure in Arizona. And this was in Glendale, and I stopped in Tucson. And Glendale and Tucson were the roads for me were just insanity. I mean, I thought they were very dangerous. There's a lot of blind spots in the way the roads are angled, so you're almost given a Hail Mary to pull out and pray to God you don't get smacked. Just not my cup of tea, you know. I'm spoiled here with Florida roads, I guess, but it just was not my cup of tea at all. Might be 30 miles from the farthest west end of Tucson to Ajo. But I think it's further. I don't know. But that's what you guys, I read it out of the thing. Argue with Mike Ruiz. If he made a mistake, go and tell him no, it's more like 100 miles. Because I personally don't know. I know Arizona Raven would. Arizona has Arizona in the name, so I have to think that Arizona Raven of all people know where all this stuff is. You know, so I don't. I drove through and I was half asleep both times because it was a 3-day straight drive to get there, and it took me a week. It was the most miserable trip I think I ever had. And of course I was really upset because, you know, it was an emotional trip for me as well. So anyways, this is, as you guys can see, in home invasion about 30 miles away. So I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. Oh yeah, Aho way. Yeah, because they're saying that this is 100 miles away. I don't know, folks. We see it here. They say about 30 miles. That's what I'm going for. I don't know how far away it is. I don't know how long it would take to get there. Maybe let's just plug it in. Well, let me just get this. Let's see how far away it is. Copy. Oops. Okay. Okay. Arizona. Okay, I don't know where this is, so that's Las Vegas. That's lay right there. So it looks like right here is where this intersection is right here. So let's do this one. Okay, let's get directions. And let's put in Catalina Foothills. No, it's saying it's about 12. It's saying it's about 20 minutes away. That's where I'm getting right there, about 20 or 30 minutes away. But I could be wrong. I don't know the area. You guys see what I'm pulling up, and it says west away, Ajo Way, Arizona up there. But I don't know. This is just what I'm seeing. So again, I don't know. But either way, they're saying it's 30 miles. I'm showing it's like 12, but that was at the Catalina Foothills. It's probably the entrance, not in, it might be. I hear that it's a maze to find Miss Nancy Guthrie's house, which gives another element of then it's not in Ajo. No, it's not in Ajo. It's off of Ajo Way. Ajo Way, not Ajo. It's a road. I don't know if Ajo is a location, but they're talking about Ajo Road. Ajo Road. So that's what they're talking about. Maybe that's the difference. I don't know. Again, not familiar with this area. Not going to act like I am. So we know that he's saying that this does not appear to be connected. And I just want to show you guys because we did this yesterday. And yesterday we had a lot of people come up in our search of this home invasion stuff going. Nano says, oh, Jen. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Let's see what else I'm missing here. I would not take more than 45 minutes max. Yeah. So this is a lot closer. Where this is happening is a lot closer than many people want to admit to Miss Nancy Guthrie's house. Now, I will agree. I'm not convinced that this is the person that attacked Nancy, but I'm doing some digging into this aspect, folks, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Is DAB? Morning, dear. Is Mab in here? Oh, that's Dab. I don't know Dab. Oh, that's DeBoss. DeBoss. That road goes all the way to California. Oh, wow. Interesting. Thank you for that insight. Thank you, Joanne. Yeah, I've got a luncheon. That's why we're rolling a little bit early this morning, is because I've got this luncheon. So anyways, getting back to this, let's look at this stuff. Like, we've got a lot of people doing home invasions, doing burglaries, murdering people. This is not an uncommon thing. For everybody saying, oh my gosh, we don't hear about this stuff here. Bull. If you're not hearing about the stuff going on in Tucson and Pima County, then you're living under a rock, okay? Because I'm from Florida. You would think I'd be living under a rock when it comes to Arizona. Yet here we've got the tea, and I'm going to tell y'all in danger. If you're in Arizona, if you're in Pima County, your law enforcement ain't doing squat for you. Neither is your government. This is insanity. Do you guys understand how many home invasions are going on in this it's not a small community, but it's small enough not to, I think home invasions that are a dime a dozen in a given year is ridiculous. I don't know how many home invasions we got in Manatee County. Let me look up Manatee County. I know we've had some. I know we've had some. Let's do the same time frame that we did before. And the time frame that I did before for Pima County is 01/01/2016 to 01/31/2026. That's the exact criteria that I have for Pima County. I want you guys to see this. So we have these. We have slain claims the life of apparent home intruder in Manatee County, 1 arrested. That was in 24. A second suspect charged with murder and fatal home invasion. That was in 25. This is the same as this one here. So this was from December 24. That's the same person. Manhunt ends in deadly home invasion. That's the same person. Same person, same person, same person. All of these are the same. 2 shot outside of a home in December 8th. So that's another one. 25 deputies, female shot in the face, man in the chest, demanded money. I'm not sure if that was a home invasion or not. But we have several. But they have, and again, all these from December 27th, 31st, and the 27th and 28th, those were all the same. They're discussing the same person. They're discussing the same person. South American getaway driver in Brook Oak, Illinois home invasion. That doesn't have anything to do with Manatee County. That's Illinois. Let me move on to the next page. Suspect in violent home invasion. Gets prison judge rule, so that's an update. That's not a new home invasion. Couple survives. That's in 2020. So we went like 4 years without a home invasion, and then we got one in 2024, and it looks like one in 2025. And this looks like it was the same one from 20. These two are the same. I think they're the same. No, this one's from St. Pete. Home invasion leads to revenge drive-by murder in St. Petersburg. I think these are the same. This one was the original one, and this was the drive-by. So 2 different cases, but connected right there. So we got a few here, but whenever you go over to Pima County for the same time frame, look at all these different people. Look at all these different people. We have, so in the same time frame, in the same 10-year time frame, here in Manatee County, which we have, I think, like 400 residents. How big is Manatee County? I don't even know how big Manatee County is. How big? Big. How many residents? How many residents? So we have now about 468,000 people here in Manatee County now. When I was born, we had 50,000 people here. That just shows you in the 40 years I've been here how much we've expanded here in Manatee County. It's crazy. So let me go, how many residents in Pima County? So we have 468,000. Pima County, oops, I spelled that wrong. Pima County. What is it? Pima County is approximately 1 point. So they're about double the population of Manatee County. It seems like 1.7 million residents in Pima County as the second most populous county in the state. And you got a freaking criminal running the largest county. You got a freaking criminal running the largest freaking county. Nothing to see over here. Nothing to see over here. And he's already squandered $500,000 out of your county for personal gain. I am floored. 1.07 million. Thank you, Doe-eyed. That is insanity. 875 in Polk, I believe, at Polk County. But you guys got a good sheriff. Grady is like, he's the gold standard of sheriffs. I'm sorry. He just is. He just is. So we have 107, 1 million, over a million. We'll just say over a million residents there. We have 468. They have over a million. But look at all their home invasions. Now we have half. So we've had 5. But this right here, this is going on 3 times. This is different people. Different people. 2017, different people. 2 cases within a month apart, different people. The ones that we had that were days, like a couple days apart, were the same cases. These are different people. Different people. So again, yes, they have double the amount of population, but they have like 4 or 5 times the amount of home invasions in the community. Thank you, Jen. Well, it's 1.07 million. So it's not almost 2 million. It's 1.07 million. So I would say it's like 1,007,000 people, but it's probably not that. It's probably like a million. Yeah, it's probably about 1,007,000 people, I think is the way it read. Not, 700,000. I think it's only 7,000. 1,007,000 people approximately in that community. But that's still more than double Manatee County, yet they have 4 to 5 times the amount of home invasions and burglaries in their community with that elevated. So their per capita is very high. Is the issue. And basically what per capita means, it evaluates your crime based on 100,000. So, for example, when you might have, a 4.2% per capita, or you might have a 2.4% per capita, and that's telling you that you only have a small, 2.4% means out of 100,000, you have maybe 200 people, 300 people that will act this way out of 100,000 people. You may have 300 people that have committed crimes out of 100,000 people. That's what per capita means. The per capita is based on what that per capita is. Typically in government, it's 100,000. Their per capita is based on each 100,000. But you have to look to find out what the per capita is. In Manatee County, when we talk about per capita, it's based on per 100,000 people. So we have 400,000 people, right? So the most per capita we would have would be 4 or 5 per capita. Anyways, long story short, that's the way I'm understanding it. But they have per capita a lot more home invasions, robberies, and murders than we do here in Manatee County, with half the citizens that they have in that community. And that's a concern. That's a concern. So we're moving on here, and this is where we start getting full circle back to the beginning of our show. Remember when I started listing all of the issues? I listed all of the problems that plagued the case of Nancy Guthrie, from them not turning on the lights that first night to them grounding their most sophisticated plane because of the infighting with the pilot. We just the sidelining of the FBI, the lying to the public about all of these things, being caught lying to the public about all these things, and then now we're finding out, because the FBI was sidelined those first 4 days, that the cache may have reset, preventing them from getting even more evidence on this assailant. And the reason why this keeps coming back around in a lot of articles, I think because this case is doomed, and I think the FBI wants the world to know it's not their fault, that it's doomed. I feel like the FBI is reaching out to point these critical factors out, because they were there to help the case. And had it not been for Chris Nanos and his shenanigans, we would be further along in this case. And I do absolutely 100% believe that to be true. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate you. And finding more evidence about the assailant we know nothing about is is going to be important, because one of the theories is this was a hired hit. I don't know if you guys were watching Chris McDonough last night, but even there were a lot of his, I saw Dr. Brucardo, or whatever his name is, he was on his show, and there was another older guy that's, highly recognized in law enforcement. Oh, thank you, Lori. Appreciate you. Highly recognized in law enforcement, and he was on there. And they were talking about this hit aspect, which is nice to hear somebody talking about that, because nobody has talked about that. Nobody has talked about my theories at all from a legal perspective. And I know my theories do hold some type of water. And one of those theories was, if this was a multi-person event, that I believe that this was a hit, somebody hired them. And would this be out of the ordinary? Well, we're dealing with NBC, and we're starting to see some ugliness coming from NBC and some of the people with NBC, and them being unnecessarily cruel to Miss Savannah Guthrie, and the tension that they're putting her through, going through the hardest time of her life with her mom, and they're really giving her the screws behind the scenes, and nobody is wanting to talk about that, but we know what's going on. And it seems like Calvin, or Melvin, what is his name, Craig Melvin and Al Roker have now since taken time off of work. And I think that there's a lot of friction with the NBC Today show. I think there's a lot more than meets the eye. They can never tell us. They will never be able to tell us. Their contracts prevent them. Like, they can be sued massively if they speak derogatorily about Savannah and vice versa, and Craig and Al, they're under the same type of terms. They can't speak out. They've got them locked down. None of them can speak ill of each other. If they do, there's penalties built into the contract if that does happen. So you're never going to get this stuff from these news organizations because of how their contracts are done. But we have to look, and that's why I was like, wait a minute, I know what I'm seeing here. I've seen this before. I have absolutely seen this before. I know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to give her the boot. They're trying to make her, they're trying to get her out of her contract without having to pay her to get her out of her contract. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make her go bonkers. And I truly do believe that. And I think Al and Craig know the truth, and I think they're upset about it. And they decided to take a break themselves because they disagree with it. I mean, it seems like they're a tight-knit little family on there. I mean, outside of, Hoda, that wants to take, Savannah's job. Here's that knife you were looking for there, Savannah. Here you go. I'm just saying. Who needs enemies when you got friends like Hoda? I'm just saying. But we're learning, and this is not the first time we're learning, but this keeps popping up. And we've got to really seriously ask ourselves, why does this keep popping up? Why is these stories about the FBI not being able to get some of this information, these details that they need to get? Now they're saying because we were left out, we lost critical information. I mean, this is what it says. It says right here at the title, Guthrie video may have been erased after FBI kept out for days, director says. And we know that this is not the first time Cash has spoken about this, but this keeps coming back around. Why does this keep rearing its ugly head about this missed information? Obviously, somebody has deemed this information that was lost being critical to this case. Hey, Silver Fox. Savannah took Hoda's job after she left. She's been wanting it back ever since. I believe it, because I'm like, whenever this was going on, I'm like, sorry, I didn't button my shirt in the back. It's driving me nuts. So anyways, Savannah, I'm sitting there and I was reading this article, and it's like, somebody's leaking that Savannah's going to be taking some time off of work. And that's when we realized that this stuff was going on with NBC. And Hoda's like, oh, I'll be happy to step in. And it's like, whoa, pump the brakes, sister. Like, she's not even out the door. She's fighting with her mom. And this was all just a way to try to get Savannah out of the studio. And maybe they have decided they made maybe made some mistakes with Savannah. She's the highest paid person on the Today Show, so I know that anybody on that Today Show is looking for that contract. They would love to have Savannah's contract. How did she negotiate that contract so well? Is it because she's an attorney?
So much happening last week where we learned new details about the note that came out 5 days from when Nancy was reported missing.
And this note
that she was accidental.
And this note that they're referring to was leaked by NBC. And I think it was leaked by NBC to push Savannah over the edge. When that didn't work, they had her talking about this old man in California that lost his way and was found in the rugged terrain and was brought home safely. Then they didn't tell her about wearing yellow the very next day, and she wore blue. And it just looked really, really, really bad. And you could tell that this was all being manufactured by NBC in an effort to hurt Savannah and in an effort to make Savannah break. NBC was trying to break their co-host of the Today Show for money and ratings. They are a sick puppy. Anybody that supports NBC, you should really, really consider your support, because, yeah, they pay these people a lot of money, but look what they did to Savannah. How can you support an organization that will do that to any of their employees, contracted or otherwise? If they're going to do this to a well-known, Emmy-nominated and award-winning journalist, what are they doing to the little people behind the scenes that have no name, that have no recognition? I bet you they are abusive as AF to those no names. What you bet? If they treat Savannah like this, how are they treating no names? Who's going to be with Hoda then? I just can't do media. I don't think a lot of us can. Oh, this is a 23-minute video. I'm not going to do the 23 minutes. I'm going to read the article. So the delay in allowing FBI to assist in the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's suspected abduction may have cost crucial video evidence due to the elaborate process involved in recovering Nest doorbell footage from the crime scene when victims did not have cloud subscription, and her physical camera was missing as well, according to the FBI director. Guthrie, the mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, was taken from her Tucson home in Arizona in the early hours of February 1st, according to authorities. The FBI worked with Google to recover the cached video from Nancy's Nest camera that was not intended for long-term storage and was on the verge of being deleted, Director Kash Patel told Fox News. So it was by the skin of their teeth that they got what we got. There was more. It was lost before the FBI became involved. Its evidentiary value remains unknown. Unknown. Unbelievable. We were looking for the needle of all needles in all haystacks, because since she didn't pay for it, they didn't record that data, he said. But there was a chance that it was located in their cache just before it was being deleted. That's where investigators found the videos and still images that Patel made public February 10th, in the hope that somebody would recognize the suspect and turn him in. A short time later, FBI experts had generated a rough physical description. The masked subject is described as being 5 feet 9 inches and 5 feet 10 inches tall, with a medium build, wearing a black Ozark Trail backpack. I'm absolutely confident this assailant has since got rid of that. The masked man appeared on Guthrie's Nest camera at least twice, once on the day of her February 1st abduction and one 3 weeks earlier, Fox News Digital had reported previously. Authorities have not publicly ruled out the potential for additional suspects in the case. There is only a single still image publicly available from the earlier visit. Experts say it's likely that video existed at one point. They didn't get that video from the 11th. That would have been critical, because God knows what he did, and had it not been delayed, we might have more on January 11th visit by this masked gunman. This masked gunman. If the FBI were involved sooner, agents may have been able to recover additional evidence, which potentially may have included a suspect vehicle, more footage of the masked intruder, or even additional imagery from prior visits to the Nancy Guthrie home, Patel said. So, there is problems here. What we do know is that the longer you wait, there's no chance of recovering the videos, said Morgan Wright, the CEO and founder of National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases. The earlier you get started, the better your chances. Waiting 4 days may have been fatal to the recovery of some videos that could have been more illuminating. Interesting words. Because Google and the FBI were able to recover at least some video through this process, it's fair to infer that earlier videos would have existed as well, Wright told Fox News Digital. If it was recovered from the back-end cache, it was almost deleted. That implies that other videos was deleted because they would have been able to recover them than what they did, he said. Timing is always an issue, and we know that Chris Nanos thought he had unlimited time. He's messed this case up so bad from the very beginning in delays when we believed that Miss Nancy Guthrie was going to live or could be brought back alive. He dicked around with the evidence and sent the evidence to a Florida lab when the FBI could have processed it a lot quicker. And when time, seconds, and milliseconds mattered, which it did at that moment, he dropped the ball intentionally and willfully because he didn't want to work with the FBI. This woman could have been saved. Chris Nanos made it absolutely impossible to save this woman. And the board of supervisors think he should keep his job. They stabbed their entire 1.07 million residents in the back. And why do they only have 5 county supervisors with 1.07 million residents to serve? We have, what do we have, 7 here? We have 5 districts. We have 1 through 5 districts, and then we have 2 at-large districts, 6 and 7. Why do you guys only have 5 supervisors? Where's your at-large supervisors? You guys need to open that up. You guys need to push for, something more, because you guys are being failed. You really are. I don't have to deal with all this shit. You guys saw mine. Our home invasions are down compared to yours. I'm not living in fear of somebody breaking into my house, And if somebody breaks into my house, I've got a substation right down the road. And God forbid, if I had to run out of my house, at least my sheriff's departments are open and are safe spaces that I can run into, not locked like Sumner County in Tennessee likes to lock. I've never heard of law enforcement being such cowards, that they literally lock their sheriff's department like they're scared of the world. Like, they're supposed to be protecting you from the world, and they're locking their doors like fucking cowards. Excuse my language on a Thursday. I should watch my F-bombs. Sorry about that. Sorry. Day late and a dollar short, like Pima County. Just saying. But, I don't know. This is just crazy. By the time the FBI arrived, the crime scene had already been released. People had been allowed to knock on Guthrie's door where the blood was on the porch. It was secured. Once more, the FBI agents spent hours examining the home and the yard, collecting additional home security cameras. Why? Because they did shoddy work. Pima County is definitely far from being the gold standard in investigation. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has countered the FBI task force member and presented during the initial stage of the investigation. However, his office is not a federal agent. The sheriff's department declined to comment on for this story, but he has commented. Remember, he said he called the FBI. He called Kash Patel a liar and said, "Well, I never benched you guys for 4 days." Well, then why didn't they go in the house before it was released? If they were there on grounds, why wouldn't Chris Nanos let them in the house? Oh, because they were sidelined. That's right. They were benched, and he's telling us they weren't. So I think he's going to have a hard time explaining why it took him so long to get in the house if they weren't sidelined. Because they opened the crime scene up and they shut it down so the FBI could go in there. But you're telling me 20 hours and they didn't even collect the stuff on the outside of the house, and they want me to believe that they had a thorough crime scene investigation by Pima County? I'm sorry, crime scene investigators of Pima County. You guys did a terrible job. I'm not going to give you an attaboy. And I just want to know, why did you do a terrible job? Were you instructed not to collect stuff? Like, I would like somebody to leak some information about the process here, because they did a terrible job. And I'm trying to find out, was it your supervisor that told you not to do this, and this? Or did you make that decision not to do it? Because if you made that decision, well, in all fairness, I'm going to say that you probably need to lose your job. Because that was piss poor. The worst job. I thought so. We didn't even get to see the inside, but if the outside is any attestation to their qualifications, they did a piss poor job inside too. So I don't know, And I don't remember what this is. I feel like this wasn't anything. Oh, this is Josh Ritter. Okay, yeah, this is the one I wanted.
Idea that 4 days, that's an eon. When you're talking about criminal investigation, that 4 days passed before the FBI was brought in. And we already know that evidence was lost, because we now understand that they have video and stills recovered from the day that Nancy was abducted, and from a prior time that this same suspect was there 3 weeks prior, where they don't have video because it had been lost. So we don't know if there were other incidents in which this individual had been out to the house before, but we certainly know that video from that prior 3-week prior incident has been lost. That is huge, especially when we're looking at this case now. It seems like the only piece of evidence that they have that still is creating any kind of leads or evidence for them to work off of is this video evidence.
Wow. And I think he's right. And so we know that Chris Nanos, no matter what we do, he just refuses to acknowledge that they did a terrible job. He refuses to acknowledge that part of the problem is him.
All right, President Donald J. Trump from the East Room at the White House. He had a lot.
There, I don't need to hear that. Sorry, I forgot to stop it, and it just started rolling over. Then we find out that, this case was plagued. But there was a lot of scrutiny that Chris Nanos came under. Do you guys remember during this case? He went to a basketball game. Basketball, I think it was basketball. He went to a basketball game. He went to the gym. Like, people are working around the clock trying to find out what happened to Nancy Guthrie, and he thinks that he has a 9-to-5 job. He's the sheriff of Pima County, the largest department in Arizona. And he thinks that he has a 9-to-5 job with a high priority target missing in his community. He is an animal. He literally is a narcissistic, sociopathic pig. He's a pathological liar. He doesn't give a damn about his community. He only gives a damn about his money and his power and prestige. And we're going to take every bit of it away. Chris Nanos, do you hear me? We're going to take every bit of that away. We already took your reputation. More is to come in your job. You know damn well you're never going to work again. Your political career is over. You will never, ever, ever work in Pima County. You may retire, but I promise you, sir, you will never work in Pima County again. you will probably never work in the state of Arizona again. And God forbid, when we make sure you lose your life and you can't afford that lifestyle you're living and you got to start downsizing or go get another job, we're going to make sure we're right there ruining that next job for you. We don't like criminals, and we don't like criminals that have destroyed a lady's case. And you, my friend, are a criminal, and you, my friend, are a dirtbag. A dirtbag. An utter dirtbag. What you did to this poor lady is unconscionable. They came to you for help and you failed them. You wanted to take your ding dong out and see how big it was compared to the FBI, and you tanked this lady's case, and you did it intentionally, willfully, and maliciously. You, sir, I promise you that we here in this true crime community, those dumb armchair detectives, we're going to make sure that this is the end of the road for you, sir. You are officially retired after your duty. Officially retired. I never want to see you. I never want to hear you. I want you to climb under a freaking rock and go away. That's what I want for you, Mr. Criminal Sheriff. Now, with that being said, this guy could not be bothered. He's the first one that came to the podium and wanted to discredit and disrespect social media about how we don't have this right and how we don't have that right and how would we know this and how would we know that, right? And even when people did reach out to him to try to make sure that all of their information was accurate, that there was accurate information being, stated, that we did what they wanted us to do, for example, have the corrected information. And so this particular news journalist, which we now know is Brianna Whitney, she reached out to Chris Nanos and asked him some questions about the DNA. They were about to go on live for their 10 o'clock broadcast, and Chris Nanos refuses to answer them and asks them, do they realize what time it is, and to give it a rest. This was in the first week to 2 weeks of Miss Nancy Guthrie's case. And he's telling the media to give it a rest. This piece of shit. This criminal that those boneheads that you guys call your supervisors want to keep employed. They're okay with a criminal running the police department, the sheriff's department, and every other department there. They're probably criminals themselves. Because, birds of feather. I don't know anybody that's willing to block somebody or keep somebody employed with this kind of prerequisite or this kind of CV. Yet here they are. Here they are. It is sick. So this is what we learned from the Men's Journal. We learned that, and then we're going to get into, do I have that? Hold on a second. Let me pull this back. Oh, we already did. Let me pull this back. I think I've got something here that I forgot to pull up, but I think you guys are going to want to hear. And it's the ransom note. Okay, this is this. Okay, this is the one. That's the one I've got. Okay, so 47. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go here. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go. I gotta find it. It's the same. I got the right video. I've got to find the info. Okay. Okay. I think it's right here. Let's read these. Let's play this.
Days. It was in the first week of the investigation. So like this is unfolding like each day there's something new, right? So just a couple days later, ransom notes go into TMZ and then the Tucson station that was a sister station to the Phoenix station I worked at.
Absolutely nothing, Captain.
And that upped the ante of everything because it gave 2 deadlines demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin. So now you're like,
it really does upset
okay, what's going to go on? And I want to get into what the ransom note said, ransom note number 1 and 2. But that's what a press conference was called. The only press conference, by the way, that we've had in this investigation since it all started. And that's where we learned there was a 5 p.m. deadline on that Thursday. There was another deadline on that Monday. And it started with $4 million in Bitcoin demanded for day 1. And if you didn't meet that, then it was $6 million demanded for the next one. So now there's a ticking time clock as to what's going to happen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I want to talk about the ransom note with you. And I'm going through my computer just to make sure that I get this all right. There's been bits of this that have been talked about on.
Which we've known. We've known for a while that there's been bits of this ransom note talked about. And we want to know what's in the ransom note. We want to see, feel, touch, hear what is in that ransom note. And like I said at the very beginning of this show, the ransom note, and I told you I wasn't going to really show this, but I want to show this, but we have some time to show this before I've got to close out and head to my luncheon. But the ransom note, in my opinion, the second ransom note cannot possibly be authored by the same person. The first ransom note was so savage that the second ransom note didn't seem like it could possibly be the same author. In my opinion. This is just my opinion. Thank you, Barbara. Did you see the video of Nanos and Annie texting and calling each other? Another deputy caught them and turned it in. Can you send... Excuse me. Can you send that to me? Well, I hope they do start stirring the pot in Tennessee, Uncle Rad. In all fairness, you know, I'm a professional protester. This kind of shit here, I would have been out there. If it wasn't so darn expensive for me to get out to Arizona, I would be out there. If I had a vehicle and a place to stay and it was just a flight, I would absolutely be out there right now in front of the sheriff's department. You know, and not just in front of the sheriff's department. I'm going to the Board of County the Board of Cowards. I'm going to be out there, perched out there. I'll go to their businesses. I don't really care. You're not going to stop my constitutional rights. You can throw me in jail. That's just one step. And by the time I'm done with you, you'll never be throwing anybody in jail for speaking their mind again. But I don't really care. I'm going to go wherever I could go. If I had the sponsorship of that, I would have already been out there. In all fairness, I would have. Because this, I believe in this so much. I believe in the freedom of press and the freedom of our rights that they keep trying to piss all over in these communities and trying to tell us that I'm the problem or you're the problem, and it's them that are the problem. They're the ones that don't want to hear the speech. It's not that we're not entitled to the speech. They just don't want to hear it. I don't care. I don't care what they want to hear. A lady's missing and they drop the ball all over the place, and instead of doing better, they want to throw people in jail. I'm not down like that.
Online, there's been parts that people know, but I don't think they know all of the verbiage, and I think this is very important because it sets the tone for what was about to come. So I'm going to read you part of it. This is how it started. Hello, Savannah. We have your mother, Nancy. She is safe but scared. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed. We will be holding her for a maximum of 7 days. So they go on then to demand the millions of dollars, and they give the 2 deadlines. But what is key here, I think, is that the money was demanded in USD, so US dollar. Typically, if this is coming from somebody here, you don't...
First of all, there's no ransom demands of anybody that's going to be kidnapping somebody from the United States of America and have to express that we need USD. Okay, first of all, that's all we deal with here in this country is USD. I mean, we do have exchange and stuff like that, but you're not going to be going through all of that stuff when you're trying to kidnap somebody. Nor do you need to tell American citizens you need payment in United States dollar. We automatically assume that because that's the only currency we allow in our country. So this right off the gate is telling me it's phony. Because nobody in their right mind is going to be putting USD in a ransom letter to an American citizen on American soil. But that's not the savage part. We already heard what was in the second ransom. Let's listen to what's in the first one. Again, this is savage. This is not the same person as the second. All roads lead to Rome. Yep.
Don't say that. You don't say that, which is key for this theory we're going to talk about later in the episode.
So they're saying they will only hold her for 7 days.
For 7 days, right. Then they get pretty demanding and snarky with how they address Savannah. And mind you, that's also important, right? They're addressing just Savannah.
Yeah.
They don't say the Guthrie family. Hello, Savannah, we have your mother.
We always wondered if it was like about who she was or did they just happen upon her not knowing that it was going to garner this attention, but it seems.
And I want to remind people also, this ransom note that they're referring to right now came 9 hours after they released the crime scene and 8 to 9 hours after Chris Nano's first press conference on February 2nd. It came hours. It came at almost 7 o'clock at night, and he was doing a press conference at 9 o'clock in the morning. So they released the crime scene. He does a press conference. We have a crime scene. There is a crime scene press conference. Remember that? That was on February 2nd. Okay? February 2nd. This letter, that was in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning, Arizona time. They did this press conference. 7 o'clock Arizona time after that press conference is when the first ransom note came in. This ransom note that they're talking about. This is why I don't believe, and it has USD implying that we need you. I don't know what idiot believes that these ransom notes are literally legit. I know a few. I shouldn't call them idiots, but because I do like some of the retired law enforcement, but I've never believed them, and this just more solidifies why people are foolish for believing them. Maybe that would be better appropriate words. Foolish for believing them instead of idiots.
It's like this was about, or they at least not necessarily about Savannah, but they knew Savannah had money.
Yes.
At a minimum.
I think, so Savannah, I believe, was obviously, the target of where we would get the money from if you were the person who was targeting this. And I think there's a reason maybe why they targeted her. I'll get into that too.
Okay.
I'm going to read you 3 more parts of this ransom note, and then we'll kind of talk about it after. So this is what it went on to say. Once payment is received to the Bitcoin address below, she will be released within 12 hours of deposit to a safe drop-off location back in Tucson. If the payment is not received by the last deadline on Monday the 9th at 5 p.m., she will be killed.
Okay. You see how savage that is? If we don't receive your money, she will be killed. Does that sound like, oh my gosh, we didn't mean for her to die. Oh my gosh, we don't know what to do. She perished shortly after, she perished shortly after we got her and now she's been buried with nature. Does that sound like the same people? If we don't get your ransom, we're going to kill her. If we don't get your ransom, we're going to kill her. If we don't get your ransom, we're going to kill her. Oh my gosh, she died shortly after we abducted her. According to the second ransom note, that she would have been dead by the time the first ransom note had happened. And they're saying that they will kill her if she didn't, but yet they have all this empathy and sympathy in the second ransom note on the 6th. It doesn't make sense. These are all bogus. These are all phony, in my opinion. And this does not help solidify that, in my mind, that they're real. I still think that this supports the fact that they're not real.
Your mother is aware of this, and her life is in your hands. It is in the best interest of everyone to have this completed as soon as possible. You will not be able to contact me from here on out. There will be no negotiation. Do not play games. Law enforcement will not be able to help you.
Oh my God.
And then at the very end,
Savage.
they basically
Savage.
give what we learned in the press conference at the time, that there was something only the abductor would know, which was she had a white smartwatch that was on the floor near her bed, like at the foot of her bed.
So they identified the smartwatch. Did they have it in the exact right place? And could they have seen that from a videotape? Yes, they could have. Was there media on the ground at the time of processing? Yes, there was. Could somebody from local media have seen this? Could it have been leaked? Yes, it could have. What is this telling me? It's telling me that possibly the person that's doing the ransom watched the local news. That's what it's telling me, at minimum.
And then there was this floodlight that was destroyed in the backyard. So those two clues are what gave the FBI kind of the wherewithal to say,
This is not a hoax.
at least they didn't think so, or they were investigating.
The watch could have been seen on the footage from the local news that first few hours before legacy media got out, like national media got out there. And then you've got the floodlight, which was well known and well documented, literally from every single video I have seen from the very beginning. That was just dangling there. So it's been dangling. You could see that from every single shot that had any type of drone footage on that the first few, like that first 24 hours. So, and because this came in so many hours after the place was released, anybody could have seen that. If they didn't collect the shit on the outside of that front door, do you think they collected anything on the inside of the house? I would probably say no. Because why? Because their crime scene unit is incompetent. Pima County Crime Scene Unit, you guys should be shamed. What the hell happened? That's all I want to know. What the hell happened? I would like somebody to leak the information about what happened behind the scenes with that investigation. I really would. Oh, grave crime was Grace. Thank you, my love. Thank you, because I'm a love machine. Ow. Doing the little Cabbage Patch. Strawberry Brook, the Jewess. Is it the Jews or the Jewess? I'm sorry if I butchered that. Smarty me, and Ellie Mae. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Didn't receive a membership. Maybe one day, Captain. Maybe one day. When you finally get your gifted membership, Captain, make sure you go and buy a lottery ticket, okay? And then you got to split your winnings with me 50-50. I'm just saying.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
Good stuff.
Investigating it as possibly legitimate. They still are, by the way.
Probably also why they kept you guys out of the backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want anyone reporting,
Of course.
about the light. Okay.
And so there was like a Bitcoin wallet, an address that was at the bottom of this that would be where you would deposit the funds. And I think something that I took away from reading this right off the bat was that you will not hear from me. Like they were cutting off communication. It was just like, pay
We don't want
this.
back and forth. We want money. I've told you exactly what we want.
Exactly. The other part that I think is really interesting here, because again, we have no idea where Nancy where she went, where she is. The specific verbiage of once they get the money, she will be released to a safe drop-off location back in Tucson.
Indicating she's not in Tucson.
That's what I think. Now, could it be right outside Tucson? Very possible.
Yeah.
Very early on, people thought that maybe she could have been taken down to Mexico. The border's very close there. It's easy.
Like I said, I'm not digging with all of the assumptions and stuff like that. They never gave a proof of life. They never proved that they had Nancy Guthrie by any stretch of the imagination, but wanted millions of dollars. And when they were willing to give up the millions of dollars and all they wanted was proof of life or proof of death, remember, they were willing to pay whether she was dead or alive. They just wanted their mom home. And the people couldn't even come up with a photo of her in a shallow grave somewhere, deceased, to send a family to get paid? You know, to prove that they were who they say they were? And these ransom notes come after law enforcement, not before? Everybody that does a ransom, they want to try to get to the people that are going to pay before law enforcement gets to them, or they get to law enforcement. Sent you $2 earlier, Beach Bee, hoping you have a wonderful day, a wonderful Thursday. Prayers and love. Oh, thank you. Then let me go up here and say hi to everybody. I'm sorry I missed a lot of people because we were covering such a lot. Let me just take a little, let's just take a little break before we go over to Ransom Note 2. But do you guys, while I'm reading these, the fan funding, while I'm reading this, let me know your thoughts in chat right now. Do you guys agree with me that what Rihanna just said was pretty savage? It seems like somebody that's like, you pay me or I'm killing your mom, right? Very savage. Just matter of fact, send me the money. This is the last time we're talking to you. If we don't get the stuff, we're only holding her for 7 days. If we're not paid by 7 days, we're killing your mom and we're done, right? That's what it sounds like. That was savage. That was a savage ransom note. Does that sound like the of the second note? We're going to get into that second note here in just a second. So before we do, let's go over here. Let's say hi to everybody. Oops, I'm starting to not sync, which kind of sucks. Kind of sucks a little bit, but that's okay. It'll get caught back up. Let me take this off real quick. I guess we'll keep it on here, and then I'll just take it off. I'll take my... I don't know. So every now and again, it just gets frozen up like that. So I'll just take it off and let it reset itself. So we have, this is from earlier today. It says, love you, BHB, and everyone. BHB is, I appreciate everything you do. You're the best. Thank you so much. Pam became the newest member of our crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Thank you so much, Lori. And I wanted to apologize to you, Lori, because I missed you the day before yesterday. Yesterday morning, I guess you also donated, and I forgot. So I did thank you in our evening show, but I don't know if you were in our evening show to hear me thank you from yesterday. So thank you again today. Let them 66. There you are. I'm so sorry I missed you. Thank you for letting me know I missed you. OG Jitterbug, your channel is amazing. You are genuine, kind, and most of all, I'm happy to be part of your family. Oh, thank you. Thank you, VHB. Lots of love to you. Lots of love back at you, babe. And then we've got Grave Crime with Grace with 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships, and Let Them 66. Thank you so much. I am so sorry. Occasionally when I get on a roll with these cases, I get, you know, it's hard. We're just not going to sync up for the rest of this show. I don't know why. It's just something buggy happened, and now my lips are all off. So we'll just try to get through this last little 15 minutes of the show and get us through this aspect. So let's look at the second ransom note. Where are we? We're in 11, so we're much further. There, you know. Okay, here it is.
Boom, ransom note number 2. And ransom note number 2 had a significantly different tone than ransom note number 1.
And by the time you get ransom note number 2, have any of the deadlines passed? Or all of them? Or
I believe it was in the middle of them. So
no, let's look at the date. Hold on. Let me look at the date here, because we know the first one came in on the afternoon of, let's go back to February. Okay, here's February. So Monday was the 2nd. That was when the first ransom note came in, and they said the deadline was Friday. Remember that? Friday. They would give, what was it? Friday, it was the first amount, but then they gave it until Monday by 5 for the second amount, the more elevated amount. And so Friday was the 6th, and the 6th is when the second ransom came in. So this was the date of the first deadline. The first deadline was 5 p.m. on Friday, and the second was 5 p.m. on Monday. Remember that? And we're like, who puts two different ransom notes, deadlines in a ransom note? Like, that was even, again, none of this makes sense for ransom notes. I don't believe the ransom notes. I think the ransom notes were a red herring. I think they distracted the FBI. I think they distracted this investigation. And more importantly, I think it has distracted the public. But by the second time, the second ransom note came in on the 6th, and that was in the earlier part, and that was their first deadline, was the Friday, remember? So it came in before the first deadline. So now let's go into the second ransom.
I think there was still, you were still going to be able to get to the second deadline.
Okay.
But I want to read to you what this said. And I guess actually before I read it, Savannah Guthrie and her siblings had been very outspoken at this point on social media. She was using Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, basically putting out these pleading videos like, we want our mother back. What can we do?
Does any of you guys, before we get diving into the rest of this, does any of you guys need me to play those interviews from Savannah that she did speaking to the assailant? Do you guys need that, or do you raise your hand if you want me to go over? If we get a lot of pink hands, use the pink hand emoji. But if you guys want me to go over Savannah Guthrie's videos to the captor, let me know. Let me pull this back. I think it has something to do with our pop out, because it seems like it's something to do with my video, that stuff here. Let me just redo our pop out here. Maybe this will fix, hopefully, probably not, but might fix the problem we're having here. We'll see. No, it didn't help. Okay. So Carol, okay, so we only have one that wants us to play. We'll play it again. We will play it again. I promise you we'll play it again, but I don't think we're going to play it on this one. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Seth. Good morning.
Please show us proof of life. Proof of life becomes a huge part of this whole thing, right? If you can show that you have Nancy Guthrie and proof of life, then they'll pay, right? And they eventually offer also over $1 million. I mean, they want Nancy back. So that's what they were waiting for. But obviously, you're not going to willy-nilly put money into a Bitcoin wallet without proof of life that this person actually has Nancy.
Yeah.
So ransom note number 2, I've actually revealed a lot of the details on our Crime Junkie social media pages just a couple weeks ago. And the reason why was because inside sources were giving media networks and outlets bits and pieces of ransom note number 2. They were reporting it. And I was like, at this point, people just need to know what it said.
Yeah.
But for those who haven't heard it, this is the verbiage that's in ransom note number 2. We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical conditions. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention.
That was not their intention. I mean, they said, if you don't pay, we're going to kill your mom, but she died, and that wasn't their intention. So none of this really does make sense. Johnny knows the truth. He misses... Oh, stop.
She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We are truly sorry. And there was a lot of debate back and forth online on whether there was an apology or not. There 100% was at the very end of this. So obviously the tone has completely changed, right?
So if the tone has changed, let me ask you guys this. If the tone has changed, which they're saying the tone has changed. We can see the tone has changed. She died due to no... I believe that. I think she lost her life because people took her... well, no, I shouldn't say that. That's one theory, that she lost her life because of the meds. Me personally, if you've been watching my show, you know that I believe she was dead or dying on her way out. Obviously, with that expression at the front door where there's clear mouth and nose spray on that floor. We can see it. They say her face was in anywhere between 12 to 18 inches from that floor to have that spray, and those droplets look like they were. So it looks like she must have fallen down as she was going out the front door, or she was hanging off of something and her face was close to the ground when she took her last breath. I don't know which, but I believe that this was a hit. I don't believe that this was a robbery. At least one of my theories. I have a new theory about the robbery aspect because of the first image and it looking like he has a tool pouch or a toolbox in his hand as he's approaching the door. That would be burglary tools in my opinion. So I believe there was a botched burglary, but I believe the botched burglary happened on the 11th, not on the 1st. I believe the 1st was something different. I think that the assailant was there on the 11th, realized the house was occupied, realized there was somebody in that house, and made arrangements to come back and to do something else. That's another theory I have. So if I believe that this was a multi-person effort, I believe it was a hit. Somebody paid these people to go in and take this lady out and kill her. And if it was a single person, I believe he broke into her house, and I believe he realized that there was a lady lived inside the house, and I think he came over to sexually assault her if he's a single assailant. And I believe he came there prepared to remove her body from the home in an effort to conceal that crime. He came prepared. The person that came back on the 1st was prepared. The backpack was full of something. Somebody that's coming there to rob a house, they're going to have an empty backpack because they want to fill the backpack up with the goods. So this backpack, he came there first time with a tool pouch, toolbox, tool bag, something to that effect. That's burglary tools. He got in the house. I believe he got in the house I don't think he had to work very hard because she leaves her doors unlocked and open. Her back door, from what I understand, sometimes stays open. She very well may have propped her back door and her screen door open to let some fresh air into the house. We don't know. And nobody's told us one way or another, but it could be speculated. It definitely can be speculated. And so we have this tone in this first letter, pay us the money or we're killing your mom. And in the second letter we got, oh my God, she died. We didn't mean for this to happen. And people believe those two ransom notes go together because they have the same anyways, you guys get it. So let's listen to the second.
Right?
Yeah.
And clearly at this point, if these are true, in week 1 of this investigation, Nancy Guthrie had died. Now, obviously they're trying to, divert any blame from them, like, hey, it was her health and we didn't know that. So we're not culpable, but sorry, and then goodbye. Buried in nature. Now, verbiage, right? Remember the USD, the US dollar, right? This is also a weird way of speaking. She perished shortly after she was taken. She is buried in nature now. It's just a little off. And I believe this may be because the person writing the notes is foreign. English is their second language, or they are using like a translator.
I think it's somebody from Vietnam. I told you guys that a long time ago. I got reports, behind the scenes report like months ago, that it was people from Vietnam writing and authoring not just this ransom, but other ransoms around this country for missing people. This is not the first case. These people do this. Like we talk about true crime day in and day out. These people are searching for true crime, but they're not searching for true crime just here in the United States. They're doing this worldwide. I just want to be very clear. This is not something that they're doing just here. These people are doing this stuff worldwide. They're finding people that are missing around the world, okay? And they're using AI and other things. And nobody's talking about this, but they want us to believe these ransom notes. But they're not telling us how many times they get ransom notes in missing person cases. That would be a helpful little tidbit of information. I'm just saying.
To get their point across. We'll get into that in a second. So now you have ransom note number 2 that we now know behind the scenes is happening, right? But the FBI and PCSD, they were never revealing what ransom note number 2 said, just that it was received. But Savannah
and NBC
went on to her social media.
NBC is the one that leaked all this information out to the public. And in my opinion, none of us should have known what was in this second note, but we do now, right? Or at least have some semblance. Somebody brought up TMZ. I want to tell you, based on TMZ speaking about these ransom notes and what was contained in their ransom note, I am fully believing they never received one authentic or original ransom note that these other news stations received. I believe that all these news stations received similar but different ransom notes, because the specificity from, say, Brianna and the specificity from Harvey Levin were totally different. Yeah, they had about the same thing from one to the other, and that's what makes me believe, because TMZ has been working hot and heavy with the FBI, and I think the FBI was taking some of the stuff out of the ransom note and trying to shake somebody's tree and see if somebody could get rattled. That's what I think. I think TMZ was working directly with the FBI, and I think that the notes that they got from the FBI were altered or different from the ones that they got with this KVOA or whatever Arizona family cage gun, KGUN channel, which is where Brianna is from.
And said, we've received your note. And at this point now, there's a very clear tone change in her too. And the retired investigator I talked to said it was very much like a hostage negotiator type tone. You could tell that she had worked with the FBI. But at this point now, they're pleading to get Nancy back, no matter if it's dead or alive. Yeah. And you can tell at this point that she's like, we'll do anything to bring her home. That became the hashtag was bring her home, no matter what. And I just personally watching this happen, reporting on it, I was doing the job that Savannah would typically do on a massive investigation, right? Yeah. She is a seasoned anchor reporter. For her to have to be the story, heartbreaking, awful. And I could not imagine the position that she was in, especially because we didn't know if her job was part of this, and she didn't know if her job was part of this.
And I still think that it's possible that her job could theoretically be one of the reasons why. I created a third theory because of the contention between NBC and Savannah. So that's really, guys, all we have time for today. Where I will be back later this afternoon. This is just a luncheon. I'm only going to be gone for several hours. I'm going to try to make it out to the beach if I can. My best friend has been going to the beach, so I'm trying to do a little more outing, get a little more sun, be a little more sociable out there in the real world. So at the end of the day, I might come back here and get on my bathing suit and head to the beach. But I might go ahead. It depends on how exhausted I am after I eat my food and everything like that. I might come back here and decide I don't feel like doing the beach today and turn on the cameras and go live. So I don't know what today is going to hold for us. So if you haven't subbed up, please consider subbing up. If you have not turn the bell from personalized to all, please turn it to all. You guys see on the front there where you guys can subscribe and join and become a member. Well, there's a little bell. If you click on that bell, it should be set to all. If it's not set to all on this channel, then you're probably missing some notifications. If you're not getting notifications and you're seeing me on the replay crew, guys, and you made it this far, please, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you still have some hypes left, please give me some hypes. But more importantly, if you're not getting the notifications, this would be a great time to unsubscribe and resubscribe. And then set that bell to all, and that will re-trigger you guys getting notifications too. So if you guys are getting this live and you guys have not seen me in a while and you haven't been getting notifications, just judge the system and get those notifications hitting you again, because we've been covering a lot of great stories. We've been covering a lot of different aspects of the story. And we've really been trying to dive into some educational pieces so we all can learn about different processes and stuff like that. That's really, that will really help us in future true crime cases. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I hope you guys are enjoying at least the talking pieces. I know that it's gunky, any true crime, we're dealing with homicides, missing people, and just the really ugly of society. So I don't expect it to be all too pleasing that way, but I'm hoping that at least you guys are getting something out of this, in learning as well. We don't want to just talk about these cases. We want to learn about these cases, and we want to learn how to prevent cases like these cases we cover on the Bullhorn Betty Show. Will we ever be able to accomplish that? Honestly, it's an uphill battle, but just like the war on drugs, we still have to try, right? We still have to fight. We still have to make changes, and we still have to find victims and throw people that did horrible things to people in jail. They need to be held accountable, and we need to end this. We need to start, in my opinion, this stuff needs to start being more public. We need the ugly out there. The more ugly that's out there, the more we educate people, the less crime we have. If we had a public square and public hangings like we did once upon a time, we would never have the kind types of crimes we have when people see the end result. We have sheltered and censored and sanitized crime so much that people think that it's cool to go to prison. Not realizing the gang rapes and all the other stuff you have to endure while you're behind bars, you tough guys. So I don't want to, this is, people need to see this. It needs to quit being censored. Our social media people need to partner with reality instead of alter reality. Because reality, it sells money than altered reality. Okay? So if these true crime or these social media channels, they always want to sell you altered reality, ultra reality, futuristic shit. They don't need to sell fake when the truth sells itself. So we just need to get back on the horn. We need to start, publicizing crime. Not censoring it and sanitizing it. We need to publicize it. We need people to see, if you do this, what will happen to you. We need them to see it. We need them to see it. We need them to see boys and girls screaming from their jail cells. We need them hearing that. We need them seeing that. We need them to know that it's almost a death sentence to go to jail. You don't want to go to jail. So how do you stay out of jail? Follow the law. If you can create an illegal organization, you can create a lawful organization. If you can run a bunch of drug dealers, you can run a bunch of law-abiding citizens. At the end of the day, people that choose to live the lifestyle they choose to live that lifestyle. It ain't about money, because if you got those types of skills, you'll make money in any job you do. If you got skills like that, you will be successful in a lawful job. Instead of selling drugs, sell cuts, sell lawnmowers, fix lawnmowers. Learn how to do, irrigation. Do you know how many people don't even know how to read or write English that are millionaires laying irrigation line? People. Life doesn't have to be this difficult. Life doesn't have to be this difficult. Just stand out. That's all you got to do is stand out. Quit being like everybody else. Quit being like the thugs. Be a better thug. Be a reputable thug. Don't be a thug at all. I'm just saying. Let's try that out instead of being a thug. Yeah, if you're going to be a thug, be a reputable thug, right? Be a reputable thug. Be a politician. Be a politician or somebody in the finance sector. You want to be gangsta? You want to be gangster? Become the tax collector. You want to be a gangster? Run for office, man. Run for office. All right, guys, it was a treat. It was a treat. It was nice. I loved it. I loved it. You guys have a great day. You have a great day. We're going to get out of here. I got luncheon to do. Guys, we're in the season. You know how I know we're in the season? You know how I know we're in the season? It's raining postcards. It's raining. Look at all this money. Look, I'm collecting these. I am collecting these. I'm literally collecting every single one. I've got a little spot back here for all of this. Look at this tens of thousands of dollars I've got holding in my hand. Now, you know what? I guarantee if these politicians would have just given us the amount that it costs to send this stuff to it, they would have made a bigger impression in my mind. I might have actually voted for them, right? If they just sent me an envelope with the money that they spent on all of these, I might actually remember to vote for them. But now that I see this and I realize that they're working for, that secret money, that dark money, I'm taking these to the ballot box with me, and I'm going to say, yep, she got one of these. Yep, she's not my gal. She's not my gal. Who's this? Oh, our state representative. Yep, he's got one of these. He's not my guy. Who's my guy? Oh, this is county commission. Who's running for county commissioner that can afford some crap like this? Right? This one here is bought and paid for by our developers. You know how I know? Look at this stock paper. Look how this is bigger than my face. Who is this lady? Lady, I'm in Manatee County. I'm a Manatee County activist. Tara, I don't know you. I've never seen you. How are you running for a county commissioner when you ain't even showed up to work? Okay? Yeah, I've never even met you before. Well, come shake my hand at a county commission meeting. I'd love to meet you, Cupcake. Love to meet you. Who's this guy? Oh, didn't we just get your daddy out of office and you think we want to get you back into office? Yeah, you're not my guy. You're not my guy. Oh, wow. Look at this. Amanda Bat, county commissioner. You can afford something like this? Like, we're able, through our little bit of money, to buy Glenn like a little postcard like this, right? That's how much money we have from the broke campaigns, right? But Amanda Ballard, this is my county commissioner. Look what my county commissioner can afford. Look at this. My county commissioner can afford one of these. Look at that stock paper. Look, do you think she represents my voice in this county? Do you think this chick right here represents? This is my county commissioner. I'm the one that helped her get into this position, and then she turned on me. This beautiful Cupcake right here. She loves to spend. All you got to do is tell her it's for the kids, and she's ready to drop $10 million on the project. It's for the kids. It's for the kids. Let's tax the taxpayers out their ass for the kids. For the kids! Yeah, we can't handle that. So this is my county commissioner. Look at that. Look at that. Does she work for me? Does she work for me? No, I don't think this lady works for me at all. I don't think she works for me at all. Not good. Oh, Cindy Gruder's got an opportunity to send me a second one. Wow, she's definitely. Oh, look at this. James Buchanan got to send me a second one. Wow, these people do not work for me. And Wilton Simpson. Oh, man, I kind of liked you. But now I know who you are. Now I know who you represent. And I can tell you, you ain't representing me. Because the people that can help you afford something like this, they don't like me. They don't like me. He was able to send me another one. Man, all these people. Look at this. Bill Connerly again. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Full color, thick stock paper. Thick stock paper. Look at this. Bill Connerly. Do you think this man represents me? Do you think this man represents me? Who the hell has this kind of money in Florida politics? You know who has this kind of money in Florida politics? Special interest. PACs. Do you think special interest likes my kind of politics? No, they don't. Why? Because I'm we the people. I'm a we the people person. Do you think these people are going to listen to me? Hell no. This man right here, Bill, I was sitting on his couch in Tallahassee. This fool right here lied to my face. Lied to my face. Does this asshole think he's getting voted from me? No. Guys, you guys getting this stuff? It's snowing. It's snowing. It's snowing. All these different things. If you get these things, collect them, take them to the ballot box, and definitely do not vote for the SOBs that are sending out this kind of crap. This is tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars worth of campaign stuff. None of these people are getting my vote. And you send me this shit, you ain't getting my vote. And I'm teaching everybody. So if you're a legitimate politician, spend your money door knocking. Spend your money going and meeting your constituents. This kind of crap, we're over. Waste of money. There's people in America that can't even afford to eat, and you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on paper. Tens of thousands of dollars on paper. Cut it out. Cut it out. We're not voting. We're not voting for you. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Thank you for letting me go through my temper tantrum, and we'll see you later this afternoon. God bless, and we'll see you soon.